Well, maybe you do. Hey, I'm Alex. I'm the founder of Revolutionary Sex and alexholman.life. What is revolutionary sex? Well, it sure as shit isn't another one of those websites about how to manipulate women into fucking you. It's not a secret, under the radar, magic magnet. Doesn't even matter if she's rejected you in the past. She won't even know what's happening. And then the next thing you know, she's on her hands and knees blowing you. Bullshit, lying website. And I'm not going to tell you about how women hate nice guys and that they'll only date alpha male douchebags, because it's just not true. And you probably know it's not true. You probably have plenty of examples in your own life among your own female friends. I'm sure you've got a couple of very, very beautiful women that you know either as friends or personally through other people, and you probably have met their boyfriend or their husband, and maybe their last boyfriend or their last husband, and I'm guessing that he was probably just a pretty cool guy. He was probably a pretty cool guy, a guy who you probably would have liked to have been friends with, in fact. So why is it that guys feel this way? Why do guys feel like women want some kind of a macho jerk or a douchebag that doesn't give a shit about them? And the reason is because it only has to happen once for it to make a pretty big impression on you, right? I mean, if you go out at night and you see 10 beautiful women and they're with really cool guys, that just makes sense. You're just like, yeah, of course, she's awesome, he's awesome, they found each other, rock on. But sometimes there's this record scratch. You see this really beautiful woman and she's with this complete douchebag that's treating her like shit, and you think, why would a woman that looks like that be with a guy like him? Now, I can't answer for her psychological problems or what kind of manipulation got her into this bad situation that she's in, but I do know that it's because it's uncommon that it makes an impression on us. And the other thing is, when you meet a beautiful woman and you're trying to get her and there's some other guy trying to get her and he wins and you lose, sometimes you're inclined to have unkind thoughts about him for obvious reasons, right? Because you want her and he got her. And so it's really easy if somebody's like, well, he's just a jerk, you're better than him. And indeed, my friend, I think you're better than him too. But most women are not really into douchebags. Really great women, beautiful women, women who've got their shit together and have a lot going on and are really the kind of woman who you want to meet, they're generally with great guys just like you. And here's the catch, and there is a catch. And in this case, the catch is you. Yeah, you, man, because you're a great catch, and you know you are, right? In a sea of manipulators, if you're a good guy, you don't need tricks. You don't need tricks. You will stand out. My friend, you should be getting treated like the god that you are. And if you aren't, there are some very, very specific reasons why not, and I want to talk to you about them today. So why do guys believe that they need to trick women into liking them? Make no mistake, they do, okay? Great guys like you and me actually believe that we might need some kind of trick in order to get a woman to like us, because there's some ego thing that makes us feel like, well, maybe I'm not good enough to get her, and so I'm not with her right now. That must be evidence of something, so maybe I'm going to need some kind of trick in order to get her. Maybe I need some kind of magic magnet. Maybe I need some kind of like clever pickup line or some, technique to set her off her guard, a body language thing or something like that. And the more you want her, the worse it gets, right? The more you want her, the worse it gets. She's just a woman that you're not that interested in, you can be the great guy that you are, and she probably wants you, and she's probably very frustrated herself that she can't get your attention in the same way you're frustrated about the woman that you want and the attention that she can't get, because, love is tough, right? The mating game is tough, and a lot of hurt feelings and a lot of lonely people out there. It's not always easy, but you're a great guy, and you deserve to have great results, and I want to talk to you about what to do about the fact that the more you want a woman, the more you feel at a loss, and the more you feel like you're going to need some kind of a crutch or a trick or an advantage in order to get her. Now, another reason that guys believe that they need a trick to get a woman into liking them is because sexual rejection hurts, right? It hurts. It like assaults our ego. It fucks with our self-esteem. You know what I mean? And sexual frustration, that's no fun. If you've been going for a while without getting laid, and you see this attractive girl, and you don't end up going home with her, and you've got the sexual rejection going on, you've got sexual frustration going on, and frankly, you just might be lonely. I'm not talking about every guy, but you might be lonely. And I've been there, man. I've been lonely, and I've been sexually frustrated, and I've been sexually rejected, and I can tell you, all of them really, really suck. And so a lot of guys, look at this and they get angry, right? They get angry with women because they're like, this seems to be her fault, right? She's the one who's not giving me sex. Like if she would give me sex, then I wouldn't be sexually frustrated, I wouldn't be lonely, and I wouldn't be sexually rejected, so it must be her fault. Now, part of you knows that that's a crock of shit because you're a good man. You're a good dude. That's why you're here with me, right? And guys like us, we don't believe this line of shit, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And all of these bullshit websites that will feed you a bunch of lies about how to get chicks in some, easy manipulative way, they're all feeding into this, right? They're all saying this stuff over and over again. And let me tell you something, they're making millions. They are making millions and millions of dollars appealing to the base nature in men that feels, justified in manipulating a woman for sex because they feel like, women have withheld it from them or broken their hearts. Let me tell you, everybody gets their heart broken, right? I've had my heart broken, you've had your heart broken, and so has that, woman who you want to manipulate. She's had her heart broken too. That's part of being a human, right? We've all been through this. So there are all these, pickup artists and dating coaches and guys who want to teach you how to get laid, right? And they are preying on men who are insecure and who feel like they need some kind of extra edge in order to get laid. Like I said, they're making millions, so they must be hitting a nerve here. And I want to talk for a minute about these guys because I know a tremendous number of them. Some of them are my business colleagues, as you probably know. And, a lot of these guys get laid. A lot of pickup artists get laid. They do. A lot of them don't, by the way, which is kind of spooky. They're super good at getting phone numbers, at making girls laugh and giddy in a bar, at having fun doing that stuff, maybe making out with a girl in a bar. A lot of them really hardly ever get laid compared to like an average guy, which is bizarre when you think about it. But some of them do. Some of them get laid like rock stars, I'm not going to lie. That is definitely the case. But you need to temper that with the number of women who are actually out in a bar at any given night who are there in order to get laid. That's the thing that most guys don't calculate when they're like, man, see that pickup artist walked up with that girl, and like 20 minutes later, he walked out and he took her back to the car and he fucked her. It's like some kind of crazy thing just happened before my very eyes. And that's probably because you haven't approached a lot of women in bars, okay? Because there's a certain percentage of women in bars every night of the week, and particularly on weekends, who are out for no other reason but to get laid. Just like there are some men who are out for no other reason but to get laid. There are women in that situation too. It doesn't matter what they look like. They could be the most beautiful woman in the bar, but she's had a really rough week, a really rough month. You don't know what's happened in her personal life. Her boyfriend dumped her. She feels unvalidated. She just got fired from a job where she thought that she was doing well, but she knows at least she's pretty, right? And she's just looking for that little hit of validation, or she's lonely, right? And she's like, you know what? I'm tired of looking for good men in a sea of assholes, a sea of manipulators, a sea of guys who are using all the same lines trying to get me. They're using all the same pickup techniques to try and get me. And I'm just sick of it. I'm just going to get laid tonight. I'm not even looking for a good man tonight. Now you have to understand that what those women are sorting for is the pickup artist, right? The guy who's just going to walk up with a clear agenda who wants to get laid. They're sorting for him. And they're also sorting for any man who's just openly sexual, who's like, yeah, I'm down to ride, I'm comfortable, I'm confident, I'm not going to be weird about it, I'm down to ride, and I'm down for sex. They're sorting for him, but they're not sorting for a good guy, and they're certainly not sorting for an insecure guy. Their biggest fear is they'll have sex with a guy, they'll bring him home, they'll have sex with him, and they won't be able to get rid of him because they're just out to get laid tonight, see? And so they don't want some guy who's going to get clingy and call them over and over again over the next few weeks, driving them insane when all they really wanted was just company for the night, right? So they are certainly sorting for a specific sort of guy, and that guy very, very well might be a jerk, right? They would love to be with a guy that night who's not going to bother them again. In fact, if he's on a business trip, if he's like, yeah, I'm from out of town, He just went up a notch. And if he's a great guy, she'll probably be persuaded that, wow, you know what? I came out just to get laid, but maybe there's something, much deeper here for me tonight. And then there's a chance, of course, you're not going to get laid, right? Which is in many ways a good thing, because now she's like, I'm very concerned about his opinion of me, and I don't know if he's going to judge me or not because I don't know him yet. She doesn't know you yet, right? So that's what's going on, right? So a lot of times this success rate, it looks amazing, but really it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, bro. I mean, there's a lot of women that are out to get laid. You'd be quite surprised. And the other thing about a lot of these dating coaches, a lot of these guys who want to teach you how to get laid, is that even the ones who are getting tons of girls, in my experience, and I know a ton of these guys, I've spent a ton of time with them. I've gone out with them with their students and watched what they do. And these guys never seem to end up with a girl they really want. Yeah, they get laid, but usually, after a first date, if they didn't get laid, women don't want to see them again. And the reason should be obvious. We humans are very good at knowing when somebody's trying to get something from us, when somebody's trying to manipulate us. And these women know that they were manipulated, right? I mean, they're like, this guy seems different now than he was when I met him last night. He was like using all these lines on me last night. Now it's kind of weird. And he's still playing the same game. Normal people, as they get to know each other, begin to open up and relax more and more. But the guys who go too far down the rabbit hole of decoding the attraction game and trying to play the right chess moves, guys who get really good at that, actually kill off the part of themselves that relates authentically because they feel like they need to keep it up. Now they're doing something that works. They used to be lonely guys who couldn't get laid. Now they're getting laid doing this thing. So they feel like they got to keep doing this thing. And she's like, why is he still gaming me? What's going on here? There's something not right. It's a record scratch. She feels the inauthenticity and she runs for the hills. She's like, all right, I fucked him, but I'm out of here, right? So, by the way, some of these guys do have girlfriends. Again, no insult intended to the girlfriends of these guys because, like I said, I know a lot of these guys socially, but they're generally the first woman that would have them. They're the first woman who, would go out on a second or third or fourth date with them. And maybe it's because they actually did, get along, but I think more often than not, these guys recognize that even though they get laid, it's not easy for them to find a girlfriend they hang on. It's the first one that they end up with by and large, right? And think about it logically. I mean, do you really think you're going to end up with your best friend that way? Do you think that if you use some kind of trick or manipulation to meet a girl, that she's going to be like the woman of your dreams who you want to spend your life with, or who you want to spend at least, a couple of years with, move in with, have a great time with, a great life, laughing, playing, pillow fights, and, just staying home some nights to make love all night, and somebody who you can rely on, who will be there, who's not just going to dump you for the next guy who's a smooth talker, right? Do you really think you're going to meet your best friend by trying to trick her, right? And, I think the answer is, of course not. Man, of course not, right? Now, to be clear, if you're not interested in meeting your best friend, if you're not interested in being friends with the women you have sex with, if you don't think, if you have some negative opinion about women and you're really only interested in them to fuck them and then, move on to the next because you have some kind of low opinion of women, then, do yourself a favor and please fuck off because you don't belong here, right? This isn't for you, and this video and the ones that follow it are just going to frustrate you and they're going to make you mad. Because I'm going to say a lot of nice things about women because I really like women. My best friend is a woman. She's also my wife. And, I have a lot of female friends. I think women are cool. And I think that there's a lot of misunderstandings between women and men that can lead us to be kind of angry with the other gender sometimes. But if you can't see beyond that, if you can't see, yeah, that's my shit. That's my shit. If you can't see beyond that, then you don't belong here, bro. And I, welcome you to leave. All right, moving on. This is so obvious, but if you get this, if you really internalize this, it'll change your fucking life, all right? You can't get somebody to like you by trying to get them to like you. It just doesn't work, right? Just run it through your own filter. If somebody's trying really hard to get you to like them, it's just plain creepy, right? Let me just give you the quick example. Let's say you're out with some buddies in a bar and you're watching the game. Right? You're watching UFC fight, right? And I walk up to you and I say, hey, bro, nice shoes. And you look down, and you're like, yeah, man, I got them at the Nike outlet. Yeah, they're pretty cool. I dig them. And I'm like, yeah, they're really nice. You know, they make you look cool. So what are you doing? You watching the fight? You know, yeah, watching the fight. You know, yeah. Why don't you watch? It's a good fight. You're welcome to, you know, hang out and watch. Yeah. So you like the fights? I like fights. Fighting is cool. I think people that like watching fights are cool. It seems to me you and I have a lot in common. I mean, yeah, maybe we should hang out sometime. Can I get your phone number? Maybe. You know? Could I? Yeah. It's creepy, right? I mean, it's just creepy. And if you recognize that when somebody's trying to get you to like them, it doesn't make you like them, then you understand that you're probably playing the entirely wrong game. You know, and here's the problem. I mean, it's a sneaky problem. The problem is that you do want her to like you, right? She's that attractive girl. It doesn't matter if she's like that hot chick on the other side of the bar in the tight dress. You're like, oh man, I want her to like me, right? Maybe if she likes me, she'll have sex with me is kind of the next thought, right? Because you don't really know her. You know, sex would be good, and who knows, maybe she is cool, and she could end up, you know, your sex partner and your best friend. But you're down to ride. You want to find out, right? You want her to like you. Or maybe she's a girl who you had a crush on for a long time. You already know you really like her. You think she's awesome. You want her to like you, right? And that puts you into kind of a bad zone. And, you know, the problem is you don't know what to say, right? If you're not trying to get her to like you, what do? Like, you don't know what to say, you don't know what to do. And so, because of that, you feel like maybe I do need to learn some of these manipulation things, you know? And it's so seductive. And that's why these guys make millions, selling what is basically, if we cut out the bullshit and we really look at the marketing in these videos, and you've seen 1,000 of them, you know, hi, I'm Joe, and this is my magic egg, and in 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how this magic egg is the secret to getting all the pussy that you can handle. Like, you've seen these things, and essentially what they're selling is date rape. You know, they're selling the idea of date rape to men who are really, really frustrated, because what they're really saying is, it doesn't matter if she's rejected you, it doesn't matter if she says she doesn't like you, it doesn't matter if you're not her type, she's helpless. She's going to have sex with you and go, whoa, how did he do that? How did I end up in bed with him, right? And when you think about it, it's not that different from you just slip this pill in her drink, and it doesn't matter if she doesn't like you, it doesn't matter if you're not her type, right? And they're playing on a base impulse that's in all men, right? We're animals. It's in all men to kind of take what we want. You know, it's not weird that there's that emotion inside of you. What's weird would be to act on it. And what's even weirder is that people are trying to sell you by using the lowest part of yourself, you know, the part of yourself that, you know, you would never really do, you would never cop to, but they're subliminally getting in there and their lies, you know, work out. So what you do is you sit there and you try and play this internal chess game of trying to figure out how to please her, right? You know, nice shoes, that kind of thing. And you already know that never works. And I want to show you what does work. So here's what's next. In the next video, I'm going to share with you the secret to having endless, effortless conversations that make women want you. They're not the how to get you to like me conversations. They're based on something more fun that organically feels natural. It's not just a bunch of lines and bullshit. In fact, it's the exact opposite of that. And you can do it. You can do it. Any man can do it. Especially a good dude like you. If you're still watching this and I haven't pissed you off yet, then you're my guy, and you're a great guy, and you probably know it. You've probably had female friends tell you, man, you're a catch, right? And you are, bro. You're a catch. You're a good man in a sea of guys who are just trying to like fool them into sex. And if you're not that guy who's trying to fool them into sex, and you can get past this creepy thing of like trying to get her to like you, if you could just do those two things, I promise you, this is not hard. So in the next video, I'm going to show you the secret to making conversation easy and make her go home from a date with you thinking, damn, I just met a really good guy. And just to define my terms here, I know dating is kind of an old-fashioned term. I'm a 50-year-old guy. So dating is a word that I use. When I say date, I mean you're hanging out having a conversation at a party, You're hanging out with a bunch of friends from work, getting to know each other, or it's a date. You met for coffee, you met for a drink, you're taking her out to dinner or a movie or whatever it is, right? You invited her to your place for dinner, which I think makes the best date. But the point is that you got together with her with romantic intentions, and she went home feeling like, damn, I just met a really good guy. And it makes her wonder, when you do this right, it makes her wonder what it'll be like when you finally take her to bed. Because she'll have already made up her mind by that point. She's already made the decision that it's going to happen because you're that kind of guy, right? And that's what I want for you. So I'm going to talk about that technique next. I invite you to put any comments or questions below. Disagree with me? Think I'm a hose bag? Sure, write it down, but don't watch the next video because you're gonna really hate that shit. But I would love it if you would put comments and questions below. And of course, listen, share with a friend who you think might benefit from this. If you know like a really good dude who's not getting the kinds of women that you think he ought to get because he's a good dude, this is probably for him, and he'll thank you for sharing it. And I thank you for watching.